Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today we're doing a side-by-side comparison between the new iPad Pro and the Galaxy Tab S2. So we're going to be putting these two side by side and seeing which one really is the best tablet and maybe even which one really is the best productivity tablet for you. So we'll go over each category and see which one is the right fit for you. So let's get into it and see which tablet is going to be the best tablet for all of your needs. Now, the very first thing we always take a look at is look and feel. With the iPad Pro on this model, we see a lot of similarities from past iPads with some improvements with the 4 speaker grills, but we do have some downgrades when it comes to a certain little camera hump. So first of all, the front of it is very similar to it, which still has really big bezels. I wish Apple would trim down the bezels overall for this device. It just seems like it would benefit a lot more from just having a slimmer bezel all around. On the back, we have the aluminum we're so used to, but we have this really ugly camera hump now that is just really not that good looking. The quality, however, is definitely great, and we'll get to that later in the camera category. But overall, in just the terms of looks, it's the same old, nothing really innovative from Apple. Yes, you did finally get a flash on there, which is really great now that we have finally a flash on the iPad. But that, of course, means more people take photos with their iPad, which is not necessarily a good thing to take tablet photos. Overall, the look and feel of this tablet is very similar to in the past, and just nothing really too new. This was a dramatic change for Samsung, however. Although this is now a year old, it was a huge departure from what they made in the past. For one, a very narrowed down bezel all around on the side. It is the lightest, thinnest tablet to date, just edging out the iPad Air 2, so really light and thin. And overall, on the back, you have a really sleek design that has such a good grip, even curves in on the sides, so it just feels really good overall, having a really good grip to it, as where the curved sides on here, as since they don't have any edges to grip onto, the iPad doesn't have it as well off comparing to it. Overall, in terms of looks, I would have to give it to the Tab S2, slightly over the iPad, even though, again, I don't like these little holes that you have to have for the case on there. But definitely when it comes to feel, it's easily the better feeling of the two. You get the metal construction while still having a much lighter, thinner device, and it just feels really good and very easy to hold in one hand. Whereas the iPad Air Pro, iPad Pro, you can hold in one hand, but it just doesn't feel as good. It feels a little bit awkward to kind of hold it and a bit too slippery. So overall, for that purpose, the look and feel will go to the Galaxy Tab S2. Now, the very first thing we always take a look at on our web browsing comparisons is the screen and screen resolution. On these tablets, it's actually almost pretty identical. You have the exact same screen size, 9.7, and you have the exact same resolution and pixels per inch. The only really difference you have here is you have an IPS LCD screen on here, and you have a Super AMOLED screen on here. Other than that, though, they're going to be identical when it comes to screen, so this should be a fairly comparable comparison between these two in terms of how much they have to process in order to load a web page. So let's take a look and see how they do at loading a web page, and then we'll see how they perform at a web page. And I can't really tell which one finished first because the S2 actually had that icon from the beginning, which normally it doesn't. Not sure why that was, but both loaded the web page fairly quickly. It seemed like the S2 did it first, but the iPad was right behind it, so very close in terms of comparison there. Let's do the pinch to zoom. Really quick pinch to zoom. Really quick pinch to zoom. Let's do a double tap. And again. So with this one, it looks more so that the Tab S2 is quicker but zooming less. So that can be taken as either way. Let's do and see, just scrolling up and down. Yep, no problem there. Overall, actually, on these two, I would say they're fairly comparable. So we'll call this one a tie. Really, when it comes to web browsing, both do it very well. The differences were very minimal, actually. Although some processes did load quicker, it really wasn't that much of a difference on each one, and just more of a different way of doing things. So overall, we'll call this one a tie when it comes to web browsing. Okay, so even before starting this, you can pretty much guess who's going to win the music quality speaker comparison. Why? Because the iPad Air Pro has 4 speakers. Yes, 4 speakers, so it's easily going to have a much better sound, in my opinion, before even starting this one. But we have to test it out. So we're going to start off with the iPad Pro and then go to the Tab S2 and then switch back and forth. I'll be your hero, baby, if you let me. I promise I will be there for you in your time of need, in your darkest hour, on your brightest day. I will be there for you, baby, when you call on me. I'll be your hero. I'll be your hero. I'll be your hero. So, as you can pretty much tell, yes, it is a huge difference when it comes to sound comparison, and yes, the iPad Pro easily takes it. Having 4 speakers just really outdoes the Tab S2. There's just no comparison. The iPad Pro definitely has the better sound quality when it comes to a tablet. Now, just as it was an open and shut case with the sound quality, you can kind of guess where it's going to go with the movie quality. The iPad Pro still has an LCD screen, which is just really getting dated at this point compared to AMOLED technology. So we will do a side-by-side comparison, playing a video. This is a 2K video, so it should play at the maximum quality for both screens. So let's play it and see which one does better. So overall, when you see these two, especially in person, it really is just a no comparison between the two as well. The Tab S2 just clearly has the better color reproduction and just the more vibrant and even the brighter screen between the two. So overall, if you want to watch Netflix, if you want to watch YouTube and consume all of your media, you're better off going with the Tab S2 for all your video needs. Now, when it comes to the camera comparison between these two, when it comes to the rear camera, there is no comparison. Again, with the iPad Pro, you do have a 12 megapixel camera that just has Apple's current best camera technology involved in it. With the Tab S2, it's an 8 megapixel shooter that just does not stand up to today's camera technology. It's definitely from the past, and it would be nice if Samsung would include some of their flagship phone features on the camera to take a better quality, because this does not cut it against the iPad Pro. And then even when it comes to selfies, we do see a closer comparison. You get a little bit more vibrancy on here, but a bit better detail for the actual selfie part on here. Overall, this is a closer one that could be argued as a tie, but when it comes to the overall image for the rear camera, the iPad Pro definitely takes it. Now, overall, when it comes to gaming, these are two of the best gaming devices you can have on both platforms. Really, what it comes down to is what's your preference on a platform. With the iPad, you get newer games out quicker than you do on the Galaxy Tab S2. So newer games from different companies will come out first on here before you get it on the Tab S2. However, if you're a retro gamer, the Tab S2 is definitely the way to go because you have all the emulator options that you still do not have a good amount of on the iPad. If you like to play PlayStation games, PSP, Super Nintendo, any kind of those old school games, especially with a gamepad, Bluetooth controller, this is definitely the way to go. So because of that, it really comes down to preference. Overall, any game you play, both will do very well. So since it comes down to preference, we will call this one a tie. Depending on the gamer you are now, if you like the new mobile games, you definitely want to go with the iPad Pro. If you like the old school retro games, you definitely want to go with the Tab S2. Now, when it comes to the battery usage, we have a couple of different things we've noticed. First of all, when it comes to standby time, both these two tablets are amazing. They really do not drain upon usage. So that's a really big thing to say with both of these devices. However, when it comes to actually using the devices at full brightness, using it for everything from downloading different things, downloading videos, songs, all of these kind of features, it really did come down to the iPad Pro seems to drain quicker compared to the Tab S2. At the beginning of this review, we were at 86%, which this has gone down 9%, and we were at 55% here, which has gone down over 10%. So because of that, the difference in percentage and actually using the device, we would have to give it to the Galaxy Tab S2 for having the slightly better battery life when it comes to actual usage. Now, both of these tablets will easily get you past 8 hours, even 10 hours, depending on how you use it. And definitely the standby time, you can pick it up after a couple of days and you will have full battery. So really great battery life on both these two tablets, but the Tab S2 does seem to be better when it comes to when you're using it, it doesn't drain as quickly. Now, when it comes to the extras category, there isn't too much either device really has to offer when it comes to extras, but overall, the Tab S2 will take it based on the ability to expand the memory. Now, luckily, the iPad Pro does have split screen, which Samsung obviously had for a lot longer. Currently, right now, the Tab S2 does have more apps that work on split screen, but the iPad is a very close second, and for only being out for only a few months. So, while it's rather impressive, overall, the extras are going to be on the Tab S2 for having expandable memory and having full Office for free. If you do get this tablet on a Wi-Fi model, the Office does come for free, and on most carriers, Office does come for free as well. So for these overall purposes, in terms of extras, what more do you get? Yes, you will get more extras with the Galaxy Tab S2. Now, what might quite possibly be the biggest difference between these two is definitely going to be the price point. For the Galaxy Tab S2, it comes in at $399, and for the iPad Pro, it comes in at $599. Now, you have to understand that the iPad Air 2 is more closer to this price point. But since we are comparing them side by side and exactly for price point on this category, yes, the better bang for your buck is the Galaxy Tab S2. For the same amount of storage, same screen size, you do get more bang for your buck with the Tab S2 compared to the iPad Pro. All right, let's tally them up and see who won. This one was a very close one. When it comes to look and feel, the Tab S2 does take it, just having definitely the better overall feel for a tablet and arguably the better look. When it comes to web browsing, it is a tie. Both do great at web browsing. You will be happy with either one. When it comes to music, you're definitely going to have a better sound with the iPad Pro. It just definitely has a far superior sound quality. When it comes to movies, the Tab S2 is going to be the better one, just having the better overall screen with that AMOLED screen. When it comes to camera quality, the iPad Pro is easily going to be the better rear camera and arguably the better selfie camera. When it comes to gaming, you are going to have a tie just depending on if you want the newer games out in the market or if you want the retro games on the market. Either one's going to play the games perfectly without lag. When it comes to battery life, the Tab S2 is just a little bit better in terms of battery life when using the device. However, both have an amazing battery life. When it comes to extras, the Tab S2 will take it. For having that ability to expand memory is just key for a lot of people on the extras category. When it comes to price point, the Tab S2 is going to be $200 less. So if you tally them all up, yes, the Tab S2 does take it. Now this is really important because for those of you who are looking for a productivity tablet, with these two, they both have their keyboard accessory. The Tab S2 has a mouse, which the iPad Pro does not. However, the iPad Pro does have a pen capability, which the Tab S2 does not. So you have to take all of these things into consideration, feeling which one is the better device for you. If you're going to want a better music and camera quality, you're definitely going to want to go for the iPad Pro. However, if you want better battery life, extras, and price point, the Tab S2 might just be the way to go for you and your needs. Alright guys, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up down below. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.